this is Steve with Smitty's Flybox. Today I'm going to show you how to tie a salmon fly pattern that I really like. It's all foam, a little bullet head. It's got a nice polywing on the top there that mimics the natural really well. A lot of rubber legs that it's going to kick around. So I'm going to show you a little variation of how to tie this. This is for our intermediate tying box in May 2024. So I sent a lot of materials to tie lots of variations, different colors of foam, different colors of legs, so you can kind of tie smaller goldens, whatever you'd like. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this tan foam. Make sure it's a little bit not as wide as the hook gap there, just kind of thinner than the hook gap. And the first thing I'm going to do is just poke that into my hook about right there, and just remount that onto my vise like that. And I want a lot hanging out the back here, and then the front part I want it to extend just about, about 2/3 up the hook shank. So I'm going to take just a little bit off on this end right there. Alright, now we can attach our thread. I'm using Fire Orange 210 denier, and I'm just going to lay down a really nice thread base right here. Something that I can glue that foam to. So we'll take this all the way down around here to the bend, and then I'll just spiral wrap it coming forward right in there. So I want this foam to be about like that. So the first thing we're going to do is just add a little bit of glue along there. Careful, don't get too much, just enough to sandwich these two together. And I'm going to take another piece and just hold it there. And I like to take a second and just kind of press those together and let them kind of come together right there. Yeah, I got a little too much right there. Let's just take a little bit of that off. Alright, now we can start building this fly. I'm just going to take the first wraps right up here tight and just really kind of anchor that foam to the hook right there. And now we can just build our segmentation going back. So I'm just going to cross it over, kind of loose until I find that distance, and then I can add a little tension to build that segmentation. And let's just do that same thing, working our way back like so. Let's do one more right here before that hook bends like that. And now we're ready to climb up on that extended body. Before they do that, we're going to put a little tail out the back. I sent you in our boxes, I've sent some thin rubber legs, and I've sent some thicker ones. So just personal preference, whatever you like. You can play around with where you like it. I like the thin ones for the tail and the antenna, and the thicker legs for the main legs. So I need to, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little tiny drop here of glue. Be careful, don't get too much because that could cause you problems later. And I'm just going to sandwich that in there like that, and just press those together like that. Now we're ready to extend that body out the back. So I'm going to repeat that step, but now I'm going to work my way up that foam. I'm trying to keep my taper. I don't want a really thick segment all of a sudden. And just work my way up that foam. Make sure you have enough sticking out the back that you have something to hold on to. I'm only going to do about 3 segments out the back. You can go as far as you want. I don't really see a need to go too crazy on this. Go about right there. And now I'm going to work my way back to the front here. So I'm going to just crisscross into each segment. So let's now cross back over right there. Make sure I land in that next segment. Continue on there like that. into the next segment. Now this one should be back onto the hook, and now I can just work forward like that. All right, now we're ready. We can clip off this excess foam right here, so we'll just come right in there like that. Oh, see, I got a little too much glue. I'll take a minute before I peel those off, clean some of that glue off. Okay, now we're ready for the wing. I've sent some Krystal flash. I'm just going to use a couple strands there, 3 strands. I don't really love a lot of flash in my wing. And I've just built up a little thread base there that I can work with. I'll just take those 3 and just fold them back over like that so I get some wing out the back. And I want this wing to extend just past the back of the hook, somewhere like that, so it extends over. And now I'm ready for some yarn. I sent some just polypropylene rope. Actually works really good. You can just take a couple of strands out, pull it out, and then take a brush, stretch it really good. And then, you know, I just have this comb that I use, and I can really comb it out and get it flat how I like it. Just take a second to work on it like that. And you want to get, I like a big full wing, but I don't want to get too much because it kind of gums up my head and it makes it a little bit tougher to work with. So I think I found about the right amount. As you tie 2 or 3 of these, you get better at picking out the right amount of yarn. So I'm just going to come forward just slightly like that and fold that back over. Trying to keep that little taper going as much as I can. All right, now we'll just work our way forward. Oops. You kind of get a little cliff there, so I want to make sure that I build a nice taper like that. The thread won't slip off. Okay, now I can trim that wing down even with my Krystal flash, and I got a nice big full wing out there like that. Looks like a salmonfly wing. All right, now we're ready for the antenna. I'm going to use the thin or the small rubber legs on the antenna like I did on the tail. So let's just come in here with a pair like that and just carefully secure those in right on the eye of the hook, right there, like so. And we'll come right back to the eye of the hook. So now for the head, I've got some black foam, and I'm going to cut this a little bit thicker, about the same width as the hook gap, and I'm going to just lay that right on top and just pinch it there on the eye of the hook. Come around and just attach that first piece on top like that. And now we'll repeat that with the same size sheet on the underside. The reason I clip it a little bit thicker is to form that bullet head so it wraps around all these materials like that. Now if you need to, you can trim that foam down just a little bit so it's a little bit easier to compress and tie down. Take a little of that mass off, and now let's just come in here and just kind of tie all that down best we can. And now we should have a pretty even underbody as much as we can right there. All right, now I'm going to tie this in 2 segments, one right there and one right there. So I'm trying to eyeball it a little bit. So let's take the foam and just fold it back over itself like that, and my thread should be in that spot. And now I can come around kind of loose and gather all of that foam together, and now I'm going to cinch down pretty tight to build that little head just like that. Should be fairly even like that. And now let's cross it over on top, and we should end up right there about the base of our wing and make our second segment like that. All right, now we can trim this foam. The top piece, I'm just going to come in here underneath and just try to come straight across fairly clean. The under piece, I'm going to try to come in here and trim that down just slightly like that, so it looks fairly neat. Now we're ready for our legs. You can just tie in 2 sets of legs and be done. That works great. You can use the thin legs, they might be a little easier. I'm going to just try to add a little more to this fly. Just take the large legs. I'm going to do some knotted legs on both sides in both segments like that. So the first set here, I'm going to just position that so the knot's down, and I want come back there about above the barb of the hook and just try to hold that in place, and we'll tie that down like that. Just be careful because those knots can roll on you a little bit. And let's repeat that step on the opposite side, very similar to what we do with the grasshopper, kind of like that. Now to help lock those in place so they don't flip around on me too much, I'm just going to come in here with some glue and try to get those to stay like that. Help kind of lock them down. So I'm just coming in here with some super glue and just laying a little thin layer right there along that. All right, we'll let those kick for a minute and we'll go to the next segment. So now I got to come back here. So what I'm going to do is actually cross over like that. And now we're to the next segment right there. Okay, now I'm actually going to clip these off right there. Get those out of my way. Like that. Now we're ready for the front legs. So I'm going to actually do the knot in front this time. Like that. Come in here and tie those down. And we'll repeat that on the opposite side. Like that. Get those how I want them. And we'll carefully come in there. Oop. Let's get them a little bit longer. So we'll come in there like that. A couple good tight wraps, like so. And now I'm going to lock those in place with a little glue. Okay, now I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and now I can just do my whip finish right up on top, right there. All right, now that I've let that little glue set just for a second, I'm going to throw one good whip finish in there. One good little whip finish right there. Try not to catch my legs or my antenna. Let that come down pretty tight. Tighten that all down. And now I can do my last little segment of glue. Like that. And now I've got my antenna out the front. We can trim that down. Trim the legs as needed. And we've got a buggy salmon fly. Now one last thing that I like to do, and this is optional obviously, I'm going to color this up a little bit. So I've just got an orange Sharpie here, and I like to just put a little orange belly on that. like that. And then with the rest of it, I've got just some darker markers. I'm going to come in here and just kind of color up along the sides. Like that. And one little trick I learned is I have a little rag here that I can just kind of wipe it down just a little bit, and it just seems to make it a little more natural flow to some of those colors. And that's a good coloration for that salmon fly. So I hope you enjoy tying these this month. It's a fun one.